Good morning, Stream.
Good morning.
We have your informed consent and your HIPAA that you signed at the front desk. I have a happiness scale here, and I see that you circled a 1, and I'd like to elaborate a little more on it.
I circled a 1 under what?
Under family.
Oh, okay. So the reason I'm coming in is I live on a reservation. I live obviously here on the reservation, and we have a lot of internal struggle in our family. My father is a product of boarding schools. His whole family is a product of the boarding school system, and I'm not sure if you're aware of that. Being a social worker, I'm sure you have some understanding of that. But it continues to rear its ugly head, and it continues to cause issues. I can't speak with my father. I have a tough time going over there. My nieces and nephews are addicted to meth because my father, and this is just my feelings, is that my father never was shown love growing up. So he overextends love, and he doesn't have any boundaries with the children. So anytime I try to engage with my father in regards to the situation, he shuts down. He disengages with me, and he becomes defensive with me. And so that's why I put a 1 on there. I'm having a very tough time with that, and that's why I've actually come in to talk to you today.
Okay, so what does grief look like to you? Historical grief and trauma?
So I think really simple grief, if you look at my father, that's what it looks like. Through my lens, that's what it looks like. I see a man that when I was a kid was the strongest man I knew. He was feared around here by men. He was loved by women. He was a good man. And I see this grief has overtaken him. And I feel like he's went from being that man with boundaries and having consistency and having these regulations and rules in order to becoming a man who is lost and scared that he doesn't feel like he made good decisions in life about raising his children. And so he's taken that to the extreme with my nieces and nephews, his grandchildren. And so I am fearful of that.
So, as a man, as a father figure, your father has issues that is spilling over into your family relationship, into your relationship as a father and son relationship. Do you feel that you're being distant? Your relationship is distant?
I do. I feel it's extremely distant, and I feel it's come to the point where I can't go over there anymore because we argue. And I've been raised to not be disrespectful to my parents, to not be disrespectful to those ones that are older than me. But it's very difficult because I have a feeling that I know, or I have a good idea of how we could start to fix and heal this issue. But my father is he's unwilling to engage in that dialogue.
May I make some suggestions? Are you willing to come to our grief and loss group?
Where is that at?
That meets here in Wolf Point every other week.
I would be open to that. I would be very open to that. Because I think the one thing is that I don't really understand what my father experienced. So it's very hard for me to be empathetic towards him because I've never walked in those shoes. I've never put that moccasin on with a hole in it, that old verbiage, I've never been there. And so I don't understand what he's going through. And maybe in a group I could gain some knowledgeable understanding as to why my father's behaviors are the way they are. But at the end of the day, I have to do something because my nieces and nephew, I'm going to outlive them, and that's not how I should live this life. They should bury me, not the other way around. And this is the dilemma that we have in our household.
So you have a lot of strengths. You understand, and family is very important to you. So you're willing to help this relationship, your family?
I am.
It's very important to you.
It's very important to me.
And so this is something that you would like to remedy or help immediately because it's affecting you?
I would, and that's the reason why I'm here, because what I've tried hasn't worked. I've tried to love, I've tried to be stern, I've tried to put boundaries, I've tried to be what an uncle's supposed to be. I've tried to play that in that framework, but my father destroys that framework as I build it. As my brother builds it, he destroys it. As my sister builds it, he destroys it. And so this is why I come in to see you today.
So understanding the components of trauma has spilled over into your family, but you would like to help and stop that cycle.
I would.
Stop that cycle immediately.
Very much so. Very much so.
And so, as I suggested before, we have a group that meets and we discuss grief, trauma, in a safe setting that might help you, to deal with this.
Okay.
And I would like to suggest that we have another appointment and to get the resources that you need, and we could work on this today.
Okay.
So what would you like to do today? What's one thing you'd like to do?
I think a big thing that has already happened is I've got this off my chest, and I've been able to verbalize it. I've been able to bring it out because I've been carrying this. Because it's embarrassing, that my mom and dad's house is crack central.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing that my mother, who works for the county attorney's office, has grandkids who are so spun out they don't know where they're at half the time. And so I think I do feel a lot better today coming in, being able to just get this off my chest. I think that was an important part for me. But I would be open to coming in, sitting down again, because I think that I have to remain healthy. I have to stay in a good way and stay balanced the best I can. And I feel like this really was helpful for me. Really
Self-care is really important in your occupation and in your life. So yeah, I suggest that we have this. This is the goal that you'd like to do. You'd like to immediately resolve this issue of stress because it's stressing you out, stressing your family out, and you know that this can be addressed.
Yes. Okay.